Hey going, it's Donna here from Free to Be Pet Therapy, and I am a pet therapist. I use distant energy healing to help pets move through any challenges. So today I'd like to let you all know about Molly's story. Molly's story was really interesting actually, and it just goes to show how energy healing has an interesting way of working sometimes. So Molly is a rehomed greyhound. She's 3 years old, and she had been moved from her home with a trainer due to the fact that the trainer was undergoing investigation, or is undergoing investigation, I believe, for abusing some of his dogs. And at this point, I'll just say too that not all trainers, not all greyhounds are rehomed because of abuse or anything like that. There are a lot of fantastic trainers out there who treat their dogs like kings, and I guess it's like anything in the world, you've got some bad amongst the good. So anyway, unfortunately Molly was with a bad. So the lady that runs the rehoming for the greyhounds sort of let me know about Molly. And the reason she let me know was because I'm actually learning how to do neurofacial fascia release techniques to help dogs, cats, horses release any tension in their body. And I needed some practice clients because I don't have a dog of my own. And so her name's Angela. Anyway, she runs BTG, Beyond the Gap. It's a great greyhound rehoming. Yeah, at this point I thought I'd just chuck in a quick promo for Angela. She does such amazing work. She loves a greyhound so much. So she runs BTG in Adelaide. So if you live in South Australia and you're looking for a dog to adopt, definitely contact BTG if you're after a greyhound, because Angela would really appreciate it. She loves nothing more but to rehome her babies. Back to the video. Volunteer work that she does, and she organises it all. And anyway, she let me know that maybe I could do some practice on Molly. They were having problems because of the fact Molly was so, I guess, skittish and timid. She'd run away from people. She was very unsure of humans. And yeah, they were just having some problems. And I guess Angela was really worried about not being able to rehome her as well, because if any new people came into the house to see Molly, she'd run away and be really terrified and scared. So anyway, I went around to the house myself. It's very rare that I get to actually meet the animals that I work with. So it was really lovely to meet Molly. And yes, she was exactly what Angela had let me know. She was very timid and shy and very skittish, but you know, bit of patience. And basically what I did, and this is an interesting story in itself actually, Molly always apparently likes to be up high. She never likes to lie on the ground. And anyway, when I was there, I was there with the owner, Rachel, and Rachel had a modular couch, and it's sort of, the modular couch went sort of around in a U-shaped sort of position. And anyway, Rachel sat at that side of the modular, and then it sort of went down and into the U, and Molly ended up sitting up here. And then there was a shorter section, and I sat at the end of the couch, but I sat on the ground just so that I was low and at her level and she could feel safe. And anyway, I was just sort of, I did get the opportunity to give her some little scratches at some point, which was really lovely, but it didn't last long. You could tell she really wanted to relax into it, but then her sympathetic nervous system would kick in and go, hang on a minute, I can't relax, and off she'd go and trot around the house and come back. And it was a bit of to and froing, and I didn't get to do much massage on her at all, but Rachel said it was quite an achievement that I did get to touch her. And you know, she would sit up on the couch and sort of not 100% comfortable with me being there, but she was okay with me being there, you know. Anyway, so I left, and I was going to arrange for a second session. But and in the meantime, I gave Rachel a technique that she could use to help Molly relax, a massage technique, so that if she could touch her, and then maybe she could help calm her down and just get a bit more used to being touched. So anyway, I was maintaining contact with Rachel, and I sort of said, oh, you know, are you open to energy healing and all that? And I'd love to do a session on her because I really think it would help, because obviously distant healing, you're not with the animal, you know, it's a really nice, gentle, subtle way to work on a pet without having to touch them, and it can do so much for them. So she was really cool with that. So we organised that, and so I had a first session with her. So the intention that I created for Molly, to help Molly release all trauma associated with the reason why she seems to not trust humans and constantly have her guard up around them, so that she can instead feel relaxed and safe with the humans she lives with, as well as any humans her carers deem as safe. So I created that intention with the understanding that Molly wasn't in her forever home yet, and that she was still needing to find her new pet parents. So I got started on the healing, and the healing that I do, just in case you're not aware and haven't seen any of my other videos, is everything works on a priority basis. So when I create an intention and I start the healing, and the things that come up will always be at a priority level. So what needs to be healed first will be healed first. So anyway, the first thing that came up for Molly was at the emotional level of her energy field was self-doubt. And that was really interesting, because when I let Rachel know about that, she goes, yes, you know, she was like, absolutely, I had this feeling that it was more about her doubt than anything else. So that really confirmed things for her. And then low self-confidence came up twice. It came up as an issue in May, 2023, and then it came up in June 2024. And it was interesting actually, because the self-doubt became an issue around that time, May 2023, the same month. So it was around the 20th of May 2023. So she had that self-doubt. That was first, you know, that was the first time she experienced that, and it became an issue with the low self-esteem, and then the low self-esteem again in June 2024. Both, when I questioned into them, were very much associated with physical and verbal abuse. Okay, then the next thing that came up once I released those emotions for her, so they're no longer blocking her system, chakra clearing and balancing. She needed her root chakra first, which made sense, because the root chakra is very much about feeling safe. She needed her solar plexus, which is all about her personal power and will, and her heart and her throat. So heart always comes up with rehome dogs, rescue dogs, rehome dogs, always. And then throat is self-expression. And then what came up was dogs have, or all our pets have, minor chakras as well, and self-preservation. So I don't think I need to explain self-preservation, very much fight-flight type issues. They have this need to preserve themselves. Okay, then what came up was we moved back to the major chakras. Sensing and brow chakra needed clearing and balancing. And then we moved back again to that self-preservation chakra. It came up again because of that need for her to feel she needed to preserve herself. She obviously didn't feel safe. Okay, so once we cleared a couple of those chakras, she needed Archangel Raphael. Archangel Raphael is all about healing at any level, mental, physical, emotional, spiritual. And then a miasm came up, and it was associated with cancer. Now, obviously that seems to have nothing to do with the issue that was at hand, but it must have been something that needed to be cleared before we could move through and continue on with what was intended for the session. Okay, then it was interesting. We had another emotion came up for June 2024. So that was back, remember earlier on when I talked about one of the low self-esteems that I needed to release? That was in June 2024. So this was the same date where Molly actually felt anger. And then a really interesting one came up. It was June 2025. So it was this year. And I got low self-confidence, or low self-confidence came up for Molly. And when I got back to Rachel about this, she's racking her brains trying to figure out what it was, and she's like, oh, maybe it was this, or maybe it was this. And then she checked back over her phone and was just flicking through all the photos, and she came up with a photo 14th of June 2025, which was exactly the date that I said, she had actually gone back to basically BTG, Beyond the Gap, when they place greyhounds to particular foster carers, and then at some point they come back to sort of I don't know, a training ground. Usually it's at Angela's house, to be honest with you, and they go through a bit of an assessment program so they can figure out the best person to take on the greyhound according to its personalities and what it does, what it doesn't do, whether it's cat friendly or not, or you know, all these sort of things. They go through this assessment, and apparently on the 14th of June 2025, that was when Molly had to come back and go through this assessment. And Rachel said she was so scared, she was shaking. The poor thing was just like, you know, freaking out a bit because it was coming back to this place, and you know, so the exact date blows my mind. I shouldn't say blows my mind. I should know. I should just go, yeah, of course I got the right date. So anyway, that was what happened, and that blocked some low self-confidence in Molly's field, so I was able to release that for her, which is fantastic. Okay, then she needed some major chakras just re-cleared and balanced again, and that self-preservation came up one last time, and then that was when session 1 ended. Okay, session 2. So the first thing that came up for Molly in session 2 was some major chakra clearing and balancing. She needed her root chakra done, her solar plexus, and her throat chakra. So root, feeling safe. Solar plexus, her own personal power and will. Throat, personal self-expression. She then needed Archangel Raphael. And from there, she needed some energetic grounding. Energetic grounding is just a really nice way to calm down. Okay, next what came up in the emotional level was she had actually picked up self-confidence from a human in the house, in Rachel's house. So I can't remember if she had 2 sons and a daughter, and obviously her partner. And what came through was Molly had picked up an overbalanced level of self-confidence, possibly from her daughter. Now, Molly didn't really get back to me on this. I sort of gave her a date when this became an issue. So, I mean, who knows? It could have been anything, really. It could have been anything. That the daughter might have been just doing something and she felt really good about herself. Who knows? And Molly picked up that low self-confidence. Maybe because, well, not low self-confidence, sorry, overly confident, overly self-confident. So it could have been... maybe it was an issue because she felt such low self-confidence, and then to have this extreme high confidence, it just sort of threw things out of whack. And then one more emotion came up during the session of insecurity. It came up 2023, and questioning into it, it seemed though Molly felt insecure just due to the way a person, or a person's demeanor, basically, just the way they were acting and the way they expressed themselves, just sort of, Molly felt a little bit insecure about it all. She then needed her root, her solar plexus, and her throat chakra re-cleared and balanced. And then she needed 2 minor chakras done, her body language. Body language is all about intentional communication, how your pet intentionally communicates to other dogs, other cats, other horses, other people, and when it's out of whack, it can mean there's either a lack of or too much. You know, so for an example of a dog might be they're just barking all the time. That would be like a real, you know, imbalanced body language chakra. And then once I cleared that, that was pretty much it for the session. And I always question into whether another session's needed, and she didn't. That was it. That was all that was needed for that particular intention. So anyway, it was about I don't know how long afterwards. So probably about a week after. Obviously, I let Rachel know that I'd be in contact to follow up and see how Molly was going. But I had no idea at the time. But I visited Angela, who runs BTG, and she was quite concerned because Molly had some people who wanted to come and check her out and see if they wanted to adopt her, so that she would have her forever home. And obviously Angela really She loves her greyhounds and she really wants to rehome them and give them loving homes, and she was concerned that maybe they wouldn't take on Molly because she was so timid and skittish, and she was really, really worried. And anyway, I told Angela wasn't actually aware that I had organised to do the energy healing through Rachel. And I just sort of said, well, actually, I've done a couple of healings. And I said, I'll contact Rachel and see how Molly's going. And it turned out that I contacted her, was it the day after? It was pretty close, and I think it must have been the day after. Yeah, and anyway, I'll show you some images of the message that I got back from Rachel about it. Some interesting events. So while we didn't necessarily notice much change in Molly's behaviour, possibly more lazy, less digging, we did block off some of the garden beds, but if she wanted to, there's still lawn which she has dug before, and possibly a little bit more excited and playful when arriving home, but they would be very mild differences. However, almost instantly after her last healing, there was a shift in her adoption situation. We got a text about someone wanting to meet her within days of her healing, and they sounded perfect for her. We met them today and she went straight up to them and their dog, and it was like she knew she was with her family. There was almost no fear at all that we could see. I was absolutely blown away and had to try to explain to these people just how amazing it was to see. As you know, just how much she avoids people. You would have been so surprised from seeing how she was when you were here compared to how she was with these people. So while we didn't necessarily see big changes, it almost felt like a blockage that was stopping her from being adopted was cleared for those people to come through. And they felt like the right people. So possibly there was a bit of alignment going on for her after her healing. Good news, it all went great and they are wanting to adopt her. They have to contact Angela and finalise it all, and then it'll be a matter of when it suits them to pick her up. So all being well, she will have her new forever family very soon. Yeah, so it was pretty amazing that even though after the second session, Rachel didn't really notice that much change in Molly. It was like as soon as Molly saw her forever family, her forever humans, she just came out of her shell and she was happy, and she was like a completely different dog. Like Rachel said, if I have seen Molly on the day that her new humans came to see her, I would never have recognised, I would never have guessed that she would act this way. So it was such a happy ending. And that's the thing, energy healing, you know, it just unfolded so beautifully. She'd had her last energy healing session. Yeah, she didn't show much change to her foster carer, but as soon as her new humans arrived, she was just like a brand new dog. And oh God, these stories. They get you. They really do get you. So yeah, I just really wanted to share that story because I thought it was beautiful. And yeah, I won't hold you up for any longer. I really hope you enjoyed hearing that story. And if you or any of your friends know or have a pet that might be a little bit shy, a little bit skittish, a little bit unsure, feel free. I'd love to help them. I'd love to help. I just love doing this. It's so cool. So yeah, anyway, that's all from me. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed the story, and I'll see you again another time. Bye for now. And I realised I didn't finish off my story at the start of the video. So remember I was telling you how Molly always liked to be up high. She would never lie on the ground. Well, there's an image of her up on the chair there, but the other image, I know it's dark and you can't really see it, but it's Molly lying on the ground exactly where I sat with her when I was trying to do some massage on her. So how freaky is that? I thought that was very interesting. But anyway, leave you to it. Thanks again for watching. See you next time. Bye.